Welcome to Ultimate Parks International, the home of the 2019 No Borders Ultimate Tournament. This is the women's final. It's Iris from Quebec City wearing blue against an Ottawa-Kitchener conglomeration called Lowercase. They'll be wearing the white jerseys. Dan Mooney alongside Corey Boucher for this one. And Corey, you have to think that Ottawa's the favorite in this particular final, basically because of the fact that this is a really good team assembled for tournaments just like this.
Yeah, and because they're going with two cities, it's a little bit easier to sort of pick the best of the best. You're able to kind of draw from a deeper pool of talent, and with that, especially because they practice here once a week, they know the wind, they know the layout of the field, all that stuff, and it can make a difference.
The wind has freshened over the last 15 or 20 minutes. How much of an effect is that going to have on the play today?
So we'll have to see. It depends if they're going to be playing man or zone. With man, you will see the wind won't affect as much. There might be a few sort of hucks that trail and fly in the wind, a little bit more difficult to get to. Whereas if it's a zone, the wind could be a big factor because you're making the other teams throw so many passes.
Are you expecting to see a huck fest here this afternoon, or is it more going to be the type of disc possession game that we've come to see from a lot of teams in this tournament?
Personally, I would love to see a huck fest. That is my style of play personally. But I think these two teams are going to be very calm and measured with their offenses. They're going to take their time. Look to break the mark so they can move the disc up the field where the defenders aren't waiting for it, and just be able to see a lot of really good, really calm offensive play.
Three players to watch on Iris from Quebec City. Number 4, Marie Genet. Number 13, Melissa Dunbar. And Alicia Zhao wearing number 22. Those are the straws that stir the drink for Iris.
Yeah, and so Marie Genet has been a mainstay on this team for a long time. She really does a lot of the handling. She throws a lot of breaks. It makes it very hard to defend against her, both when you're covering her as well as upfield. Melissa Dunbar is just like an all-around great player. She's very well-rounded game, and Alicia Zhao is just so fast, she's very hard to cover.
For Ottawa, for Lowercase, three great players to watch for as well. Number 15, Court Benvenuti. Number 23, MC Jacques, and number 67, Jesse Robinson. Ottawa relies on those three quite a bit, don't they?
They do, and now Lowercase is a very talented team top to bottom, as is Iris, but those three are probably going to be doing a lot of the disc movement in the middle of the field. You'll see a lot of people who are going to be looking to swing the disc aggressively, and then Jessie Robinson is kind of like the cannon from the backfield. She's the one who's going to say, enough of this small ball, let's throw a huck.
Ottawa has a tendency to play the longer game.
Yes, they're not to the point of the men's where it's like they're really trying to force it, but they will take the opportunities that are available to them.
We are all set to go here. The observers for this one, Alain Legault and Sandra Hansen. They have worked all three finals. The mixed was 13-11 victory by Anchor over the Chaos from southwestern Ontario. In the men's division, Ottawa Phoenix fell 14-13 to
Mockingbird
from Montreal, and that was a classic, and never got to 15. Neither final got to 15. They both went to the ceiling on the 80-minute hard cap.
Yeah, it's one of those things that the wind can really change. As soon as there's the wind, it generates a few more turnovers than the teams normally would, especially on the big hucks. And it just draws the game out a little bit more, so very often you'll see games going to time rather than to point cap.
Just been informed by the observers that halftime will be at 40 minutes, regardless of whether the team gets to 8 points or not. I guess they just want to make sure that they went 52 minutes to halftime in the mixed final. That leaves not a lot of time if you're trailing to get back into it in the second half. So the officials have decided to cut the first half at 40 minutes.
Which can sometimes make it tough too, because the way that the play goes back and forth, sometimes you would be in an opportunity to sort of score the last point and then receive in the second half. And when you go to a timed, sometimes it can affect the amount of possessions that you can actually have.
So Iris will be starting defending the right end zone. As you look at the picture, that's our end zone camera. And Lowercase, wearing the white jerseys, will defend the left end zone. That would be the east end zone here at Ultimate Park International. And nobody can complain about the quality of this pitch. It is in beautiful condition.
Yeah, and we're very lucky here in Ottawa. This thing's been around for, I want to say, like 15 years or something like that. And it's one of the premier ultimate, pure ultimate fields in the world, because it's dedicated only to ultimate here.
21 fields here at UPI, and we're on Manotick Station Road, just south of the nation's capital in a little suburb called Greeley. And this field has been, like you said, about 15 years in the making. This tournament started way back in 1985 and has continued to be one of the premier ultimate tournaments in Eastern Canada.
Yeah, and kind of went for a bit of a lull there when the United States teams, with all the sanctioned events, they kind of had to stop.
Nice pull to get things going. Ottawa starts it out. Brie Vandergrent moves it up. There's Megan Thomas. Thomas inside for Rachel Robichaud. And you wanted the Huck Fest. Here it is. And a good D there from number 25, Corinne Massé of Iris. And it results in the first turnover of this game. Marina Baudouin. Little forehand up for Pambrun into the middle. And foul called.
Looks like it might have just been a pick. It looks like it's going to stay where it is and then get tapped in here, yeah. Iris
in possession of the disc. Nice throw for Marie-Andre Pambrun. There's Melissa Dunbar into the end zone. And they're ruling it a catch. It didn't look like Alicia Zhao was able to hang on, but apparently she was. Here's another look.
Yeah, she really gets low underneath the disc. She does not go high for the layout, and therefore is able to get underneath it and then just kind of drag the disc with her as she goes. It's a really good look from Melissa Dunbar. A nice break with the wind here we have going from her left to her right. And Alicia's just there to get there with her speed.
She was one of our players to watch in this one, and it didn't take her long to have an impact on this game. First possession by Iris, they could take it down the length of the field and score.
And that's why it's just it's so crucial to make sure you're taking the right shots when you're looking for those hucks. Just because, right, a turnover like that happens, sometimes you can have a few, of the other team's players down by the disc, and they get the disc moving quickly, and you don't get to get set up on your defense.
One nothing for Iris on a goal from Alicia Zhao. On a beautiful feed, she had to lay out to make the catch, and she did it. And now Corinne Massé will get set to get things underway once again. Low pull on a rope all the way into Lowercase end zone. Number 89, Brianna Jaffrey moves that up. MC Zhao. Number 23, little flip. 10-second stall count. Little flip, nice grab there. Brianna Jaffrey looking deep into the end zone. No, great defense there by Gabrielle Comtois to knock it away.
Just a tough one. She kind of had to sit there and wait. So as we see here, Brianna throws, and then the offender kind of sits there and waits instead of trying to come back into it, and then Iris makes a great play on D.
Disc is tapped in. Marina Baudouin flips that out for Massé. Massé, another little flip outside for Comtois. Gabrielle Comtois. Trying to find somebody. Nice little send on the right side for Diana Trin.
Travel call, so she has to go back to kind of where she caught the disc. She advanced too far up the field afterwards, and we'll reset the play here.
3 steps allowed after catch?
Yeah, you want to.
Is that discretionary?
It's discretionary, and you kind of want to be slowing down as you're after you catching the disc.
Massé can't catch up to it.
That's unfortunate. They had all the space there to throw to. Really good throw, trailing away from the defender, just not able to leave the feet there and get the disc.
So Lowercase there, lovely little flip from Amélie Bergeron, and just beyond the reach of Corinne Massé.
Looks like she actually got a somewhat of a hand on that too.
Is the old adage ring true for football? If you touch it, you can catch it.
I've never seen John Madden coach Ultimate, but I'm sure he'd say the same thing.
Nice little catch there by Jaffray. Being marked by Elsa Chu. Jaffray inside for Marie Alexander. Alexander goes back for Jaffray. Jaffray looking into the end zone. Nice little flip inside, and now it looks as Lowercase has an opportunity to get on the board here. Alexander comes up with it. Close marking by Iris Alexander. Back inside, about 5 yards out. Nice little flip into the end zone. Caught there by MC Jacques just outside. Now they're giving her the point. The goal is scored. MC Jacques on the board. And Lowercase, the combination team from Ottawa and Kitchener, crossed the plane, and they awarded her the goal.
Yeah, and really good work there. They Lowercase looked like they were going to get trapped on the sideline. They threw a really nice break back into the field, and then they were able to have MC just cut right and go get that disc.
So 1 apiece here in the early going, 6 minutes into this women's final of the 2019 No Borders Ultimate Tournament from the Ultimate Park International in Manotick Station. Just the 1 turnover so far, and that resulted in a goal. That perhaps Lowercase's most impressive drive to this point of the 2.
Yeah, just a really nice, calm offense. I would like to see a little more movement from their cutters, just so that it's giving the person with the disc a little more support and a few more options. But, I mean, it works.
And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The pull from Rachel Robichaud. Iris has it at the break, 20 yards out. Marie-Ève Beauchemin. Iris. Here's Beauchemin. With the hammer into the hands of Chloe Emo. Gabrielle Ouellette moves that out. Emo in the end zone. And she scores. Chloe Emo gives Iris a 2-1 advantage early in this women's final.
So as you see here, it's a break to another break. That's how important the mark is, because it's so hard to play defense across the entire field. Lowercase just not quick enough on the quick movement of Iris to get that force back on and push them back into the defenders.
Teams will be awarded 2 timeouts. The tournament rules state that they're allowed 1 timeout and 1 90-second floater, but due to the heat that we've experienced over the last couple of days, the observers rightly so have awarded both teams 2 timeouts per half. and the one floater just in order to hydrate.
Yeah, and it'll help these poor observers out as well, as this is their third game running around the field chasing all these young kids. But it brings a new part of the strategy as well. When you have two timeouts, you can kind of play with that a little bit more.
So Iris from Quebec City, leading 2-1. Ottawa, Lowercase, in white, get the disc back here, off the pole. Not a good one. Good field position to start this drive for Lowercase. Rihanna Jaffrey leads the Lowercase offense. Nice toss inside for Ashlyn Kelly. Jaffrey back on the point, sends that across. Marie Alexander moves that in, and there's another turnover for Lowercase, their second of this match. And you know, I mean, you get to a final, Corey Boucher, and the old adage really rings true: the team that makes the fewest mistakes usually ends up on top.
Yeah, both teams have worked very hard to get here, and they've beaten a lot of very quality teams. And usually the difference in skill level on a day like today is just who can make fewer mistakes.
Baudouin for Massey. Back out. It's Marie-Andre Pambrun. Back for Diana Trin.
Stack is really deep here.
Sends it to the outside. Dunbar. Back inside. Pambrun to Dunbar. The give and go works, and it's 3-1 Irish.
So we see here, like, she just throws up, and then she's just so fast. She gets around the mark, and then she's able to just go and get that disc. Irish, it looked like they were almost getting a little stalled in their flow of offense there, and then Melissa Dunbar comes back and gives them a hand.
So Irish leads 3-1 on goals from Chloe Emo, Melissa Dunbar, and Alicia Zhao. MC Jacques scoring the lone goal for Lowercase to this point. But you don't want a team like Irish to get too far ahead of you. That's when it's more difficult to sort of chip your way back into a final match.
Yeah, and it's difficult because they do have players like Melissa on their team. She has been a part of both the goals now, scoring one and assisting on the other, and she's really driving the play on offense. So as an O-line, you want to keep the disc out of her hands on their D-line as much as you can.
So Ottawa will get the disc back. And Irish, a well-coached team, and they defeated Stella, who is a perennial powerhouse in this tournament and in Ultimate, the Okua League. It was a surprise, but apparently Irish came into this tournament number 1, Stella number 2.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's always tough to seed tournaments, especially because you never kind of know what teams, what personnel teams are really bringing. But this is an Irish powerhouse team. They've kind of taken a few players from other teams that are not from Quebec City, and therefore they put together quite a good roster here.
Another turnover by Lowercase. Marie Genet. Little pitch inside for Poirier. Catherine Poirier down. Nice catch by Gabrielle Ouellette. She's looking into the end zone. Emo about 2 yards out. Flips it back. Ouellette comes all the way back for Marie Genet. And we've got a stoppage. Brie Vandergrent touches the disc, and we're back in. Ouellette into the end zone. and it's good for Catherine Poirier, 4-1 Iris.
So we see there it's the breaks again. Marie-Janae from the middle just gets a great break off, and it's just a continue. Iris has scored almost all their goals in that high side corner. And so Lowercase needs to make adjustments and cut that throw off.
Well, they've scored each time they've touched the disc so far in this first half. 4-1, and not even 14 minutes in, Iris in control of this one, but the tides turn so quickly in this game.
Yeah, and it's very difficult, as we saw earlier in the men's final. Like, the lead kind of changes, people get on runs, especially when your O-line gets tired. That's really what gets you. At this point, Iris is going to keep having to roll their best defenders. It's the finals, right? You can't hold anything back.
No, you got to leave it all out there, that's for sure. And both of these teams have played 7 games in just this obnoxious heat this weekend. 47 degrees yesterday afternoon with the Humidex, and these teams played 4 games, and they played 3 today in 36-degree heat with the Humidex to get to this final. This their 4th game of their 8th game of the weekend, and their 4th today.
Hey, I can tell you, we definitely appreciated the 36-degree heat today because of the 40-some yesterday. So, I'll take the hotter day on the Saturday for sure.
Good pull. Ottawa starts. Jaffrey. Brianna Jaffrey. Little spot inside, and that results in a good defensive play there from Melissa Dunbar, and it's another turnover by Lowercase. Flip inside, and that's the first turnover by Iris. In this one, Ottawa gets the disc back, and it couldn't come at a better time for them, really.
Yeah, they're getting into a little bit of do or die mode here. They need to start holding on offense, and that was a huge D to get it back.
Let's play up the sidelines for MC Jacques, intending that pass for Ashlyn Kelly. It didn't work. And Diana Trin will start the offense for Iris. Nice play up the middle. Dunbar looking deep into the end zone. Gabrielle Comtois comes down with it. 5-1 Iris.
And we see again Melissa Dunbar being a part of the scoring play. She just is able to get the disc, and then she just throws it away from the defender in a perfect float. As we see here, it's a great track too. She's able to use her body and make sure the defender can't come in and make a play. And that's another goal for Iris.
5 different goal scorers for Iris. Chloe Emo, Alicia Zhao, Catherine Poirier, Gabrielle Comtois, and Melissa Dunbar. And here's a beautiful look from our end zone camera as Comtois does a nice job. Really great concentration, watching it all the way in and making the catch for the goal to make it 5-1.
Yeah, there's nothing that makes your handlers and your throwers feel worse than when they throw you a beautiful throw like that and you misread it.
So again, turnovers really beginning to take their toll on Lowercase. 5 turnovers so far, and 4 of which Iris has taken advantage of and scored on.
Yeah, Lowercase definitely needs to regroup here, and they need to have a nice, clean offensive point.
Danielle Thorson moves that all the way back. Jessie Robinson moves that. Here's the big hook. Megan Thomas, can she come down with it? It's a floater. She makes the grab, but did she stay in bounds? No.
That's tough. It's so tough with the wind. It's so tight. To be able to try and fit those in is very difficult. Meg made a great play here. And it was a pretty good look from Jessie to get that disc deep. Lowercase will have to start taking their shots in order to kind of get back into this game.
Inside, nice D there from Geneviève Labelle. And Ottawa are in a good shape here until now. Good D knocked down by Roxanne Guedere, and Iris trying to work quickly here. Alexandra Aboud. She has 1 assist in this one so far. Back for Chloe Emo, and another stoppage, a foul somewhere.
Yeah, just it's going to stay in the middle.
Flip back. Marie-Ève Beauchemin moves that out. Roxanne Guedere. Force back for Emo. Chloe Emo. Nice feed for Beauchemin. Beauchemin, not a lot of room in that end zone now as Iris gets close. 10-second stall count, and a foul called against Jessie Robinson for a little hack on the arm of Marie-Ève Beauchemin.
Yeah, just a little out of position there, but she made a good way to take the disc away, and there you go. It resulted in a turn.
Virginie Malte. Couldn't handle it. Dropped the disc, and back come Lowercase. They've got to get something going offensively. Danielle Thorson. Thorson. Rachel Robichaud. Geneviève Labelle has it directly in front of the Lowercase bench. Thorson has no help. Forced to come all the way back for Alora Brenneman. Thorson inside. Robinson. Nice throw inside. Once again, Megan Thomas has it. Thomas back outside. There's the flip and another turnover. And here's the opportunity. Nice catch there by Beauchemin. Now she's got to wait for some help. Little flip in to the end zone for Virginie Malte. It's 6-1. This one getting away from Lowercase a little, Corey.
And we see here, like, the player picks up the disc after the turn, and there's just no defenders anywhere in sight. She's not in the end zone. If Lowercase had really been back and on their horse, they probably could have gone to get a D there, whereas it's just a simple score for Iris. And another break.
7 turnovers so far by Lowercase. Six to 1 is the score. Goals by Malte, Emo, Comtois, Dunbar, Zhao, and Poirier. And just a lone marker for MC Zhao.
Yeah, one thing the Lowercase has to be careful not to do here with the wind is to try and really start taking the like questionable shots. They need to work a calm and consistent offense down the field, and they need to make sure that they can get their D-line back out there, because right now this is a lot of breaks in a row for Iris, and this game is quickly slipping away from them.
It doesn't bode well for them right now, and I think this is probably as good a time to call a timeout and regroup as Lowercase will ever be presented.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they didn't call one earlier. Most teams kind of have, like, if you get broken twice, you sort of call a timeout. Maybe put out a piecemeal O-line just because the players you've been putting on haven't been getting it done. But they still have a chance to regroup here with the wind kind of being a little bit of a factor now, as we can see some of the flags in the distance. This could still be anybody's game.
The wind has freshened, and it's blowing left to right as you look at the screen. So one of the really interesting things about this game is that you don't defend an end for a half. You're constantly switching ends, so having to modify your game within the game to take care of conditions such as wind, other weather as well.
Yeah, it's one of the nice things, because I find, like, if you're playing sort of like football or something, you can get kind of stuck with the wind in your face, and it makes it difficult for the whole quarter. Whereas for this, generally speaking, both of the offensive lines will get the same chance, because if there's a wind such as today, the high side or the downwind side is a little bit easier to play with, and both offenses get a chance to play that.
So Iris, once again, Corinne Massey with the pull. And again, good field position for Lowercase to start. Let's see whether or not the timeout works for them. Iris in his zone, and there's another turnover. Here comes Iris once again. It's Marina Baudouin. Little flip Massey. She's looking in the end zone. Great catch there. And Gabrielle Comtois comes down with her second goal of the afternoon. Corinne Massey with the assist. It's 7-1.
You get a nice little flip into space here, and then she just has all the time to throw this huck. Iris has been doing a really good job of having their players with the disc moving, and then therefore the throw to the end zone is coming from a moving person, not a stationary one, and it makes it a lot harder to adjust on defense when the disc is constantly moving side to side.
Another timeout called, this time by Iris. Yeah, they're up by 6 at this point, but you still want to preserve as much energy as you can, because we're only 25 minutes in to what could conceivably be an 80-minute game.
Yeah, and it looks like we're not going to have to need the time halved, which is nice. We're going to have probably a bit of... Iris is going to throw a few O-line players out here, I think, because you want to keep those players moving in game form, throwing real throws, things like that, and this is a good chance to get people like Marie Genet and stuff back into the game, get the disc in her hands, and get her to get that game sweat on.
I've yet to see Court Benvenuti.
Yeah, we haven't heard her name a whole lot. Their Lowercase is struggling, and therefore their big names are being a little quiet right now.
Jaffray moves that all the way across, gets it back, finds Marie Alexander coming to the near side. Ashlyn Kelly, Emma Thorpe, back for Alexander, along the ground, into the hands of Court Benvenuti, into the end zone, and Ashlyn Kelly comes down with it, and finally, a little bit of life there for Lowercase.
Yeah, they finally got one back. That's the hole they've been looking for, and this could be a big emotional swing if they can really put a good D-line out on here. And we see just a nice little flip to space. Ashlyn does a really good job of reading, make sure her defender can't get around her to make a play, and then comes down to goal. So,
really good at working the give and go. Kelly dumping it off for Court Benvenuti, and again, we hadn't mentioned her name much in this first half, and she gets the assist on that last go around.
Yeah, which is good. She's definitely somebody that they want to kind of get going. They need to have the disc in her hands as much as possible to really get moving and to make sure that their offense is clicking.
Seven to 2, the score. Iris from Quebec City, Lowercase from Ottawa and Kitchener. Not exactly neighbors.
No. The drive to Kitchener is quite long. I can vouch for that one myself. But that's what happens when you get these teams that kind of try and put together a team to go and win nationals and then try and hopefully go to worlds. You kind of end up with some strange bedfellows.
Nice pull by Lowercase, and Emily Bergeron starts out, gets it to Diana Trin. Bergeron gets it back. Number 13, Melissa Dunbar. Moves it. Nice catch there by Alicia Zhao. And Alicia Zhao right there. And I believe that's Danielle Thorson grabbed the disc at exactly the same time as Alicia Zhao did. But I suppose you have to give the offense the benefit of the doubt in this case.
Yeah, she's Alicia's lucky there because in the rules, when it goes to like simultaneous catching of the disc, offense breaks the tie. So in that case, she'll keep the disc, and then we'll kind of just check it in with Danielle Thorson, sort of where the infraction happened.
Back underway. Zhao. Dunbar. Dunbar. Looks right along the ground to Diana Trin. Flip out to Beauchemin. Or make that Bergeron. Alicia Zhao open on the sideline here. Dunbar looking for somebody to toss it to. Forced to flip it back for Trin. Trin up the middle. Nice play to Zhao. Zhao back for Pembroke. Pembroke, nice catch there by Massey to keep it alive.
They're just debating over where she actually went out of bounds. It is the catch. It will still stand.
I think that's a pretty accurate spot right there.
I mean, it's good enough for me. We'll see if it's good enough for the ladies. There you go.
Massey. All kinds of movement. Nice grab there by Dunbar. Dunbar goes to the outside, and a wonderful defensive play there by Rachel Robichaud.
Very timely too. Iris was really getting, they had broken the zone and they're really moving to just get the field, and it's a really timely D.
And another turnover there, but looks like, I believe Megan Thomas might be calling a foul on Amélie Bergeron.
We'll see them talk it over here, and we'll see if they go to the observers. The observer call is final, whereas if they are just going to resolve it between the two of them, that's fine. They can agree on something here.
They were both just going for the disc.
Yeah, and you both are allowed to follow your clear path to the disc. However, you can't affect somebody else's ability by making contact with them. And we'll see the disc in Megan Thomas's hands here.
For a second.
Yep, not for very long.
Here comes Iris. Zhao. Comes back to the outside for Massey. All kinds of room. And wide open in the end zone for the score, Melissa Dunbar. And that is the half. All Iris from Quebec City. They lead it 8-2. We'll take a break. They'll take a break, so we will too. We'll be back with more of the women's final of the 2019 No Borders Ultimate Tournament from Manotick Station after these words. Welcome back to the Ultimate Parks International in Manotick Station for the women's final of the 2019 No Borders Ultimate Tournament. Dan Mooney alongside Corey Boucher for this one. First half, all Iris out of Quebec City.
Yeah, Lowercase definitely struggling. As we see here, some highlights. You'll see Melissa Dunbar a lot. She's the redhead who just threw that goal there. She had 2 goals and 2 assists in the first half. We'll see MC Jacques with one of the few Lowercase goals there. But you'll see a lot of that end zone corner for Iris.
Yeah, just 2 goals for Lowercase in that first half. And you look at the turnovers, 9 turnovers resulting in 7 goals by Iris. They're certainly taking advantage of Lowercase mistakes.
And the worst part is it's 9 turnovers and 10 points. If Lowercase is going to come back and really compete in the second half, they really need to limit their turnovers. They need to have a little bit of stronger cutter movement. so that they can give their handlers easier options to throw to.
So, Lowercase, not sure if they're going to receive the disc off the second half pull, or whether or not it's going to be Iris starting with control here. It would appear that Lowercase is going to get the disc.
Yeah, they'll be on O. Just the personnel they have on. These are some players that unfortunately haven't been able to see much of the field on the positive side. However, with the half, with all the time that we have left here in the game, anything can happen.
Actually, Lowercase is going to give the disc away to begin this second half.
There you go. They must be trying to work some of their O players in to make sure that once they go and get that turnover, they can really punch it in.
Just 2 goals for Lowercase. MC Jacques and Ashlyn Kelly scoring for Ottawa Kitchener. And goals from Virginie Malte, Chloe Emo. 2 from Gabrielle Comtois, 2 from Melissa Dunbar, Alicia Zhao, and Catherine Poirier making up the scoring. So far, 8-2, Iris in blue. Marie Genet. Here's Beauchemin. Maria Beauchemin goes all the way to the outside. Here's Emo. Emo. That one passed well behind the intended target, Alexandra Aboud. And it's the first turnover of the second half. Nice grab there by MC Jacques. Aboud marking her. Little flip and a great grab there to keep this offensive series alive for Lowercase. Little flipped inside for Jaffrey. Brianna Jaffrey with it. Sent in.
Pick call. So it looks like it didn't affect. It looks like MC is going to keep the disc here, and then she'll be able to just, Lowercase's offense can progress from there.
Sure, that foul well away from the disc.
Yeah, and it's that's one of the nice things is you can still keep the disc. You don't interrupt the play too much, and you get to catch up on your person.
Jaffrey. Into the end zone. Loose ball, loose disc, and good defensive play there by Marie Genet as MC Jacques was trying to get a hold of the disc and stay in bounds.
And as we can see here, MC has called a foul. If we look, this is the play around here.
Little contact.
And what can we see here? It looks like she doesn't. All disc. But if MC has the disc stopped in her hand, if she's fully stopped the rotation, you can't hit it out of her hand. It looks like it was a tight call there. That I would call that a D.
I think that we can get another look at it again. There was a little bit of contact with Marie Genet's left arm on MC Jacques' right shoulder as they went up. Both went up for the disc, but it looked as if Genet was well in position to make the play, and she just batted the disc away.
And she's going to the observers here. Yeah, here we see it again. We do get a little bit of contact. She's holding that right arm down, but MC has the disc in her hand, and I believe the foul is being called up top on the disc. The observers are going to rule here. They're going to tell us what's going on. The players, the way that the observers work is the players both explain their point of view, and then the observers will make a final ruling, just like a referee in other sports. The nice thing about Ultimate is that the observers have to get involved, like the players have to ask for the observers to be involved. They will not step in actively.
At the professional level, they do.
At the professional level, they do, yes, and there are yardage penalties. So for those of you who do watch the professional level, this will look a little bit different, but the core of the game will be similar. So we have a contested foul there, so it's going to go back to thrower. We couldn't resolve and come to a compromise, so we're going to send it back.
And Brianna Jaffrey in control of the disc. And another turnover. Little bobble there results in an Irish possession, leading 8-2. And another foul call.
The two players are definitely having a bit of an animated discussion, so I'm thinking it's not an agreed upon foul on both sides.
Animated discussions usually indicate that.
Yeah.
Virginie Maltais in for Marie Genet. Marie Genet going deep, looking for Alexandra Aboud. She comes down with it. What a great effort with Lauren Polowick all over her. Now Iris with an opportunity to score once again. And another foul call.
I'm not sure what's up here. There was definitely a foul on the tackle after the catch. But it looked like nothing was called. All the players just kind of stopped and then got up, and then here we're playing again.
Laid back for Genet. Genet to the goal line. Beauchemin. Back out for Genet. Good grab. Not a lot of movement in that end zone. And is that a D or a foul? That's a foul against MC Jacques.
Yeah, no contest, so she'll get the disc back. She'll get it on 0. Oh, they're talking about it here. The tricky thing about hand blocks is the disc will have to have left your hand. Looks like we're coming to an agreement here.
They have a 10-second stall count, and that is joined in progress in this instance.
We have another pick. Lowercase is playing a really poachy D in the end zone, which means that they're playing the space and not the person. And because of that, it's causing a lot of picks.
Genet into the end zone, sails over the head of Virginie Maltais. She came in, thought the disc was going to stay on a specific plane. She would have been able to make the play, but it just got underneath or above a little swirl of wind, and it lifted it up well over Maltais' head.
And one thing I want to highlight there is she really does see that it goes over her head. She plants and turns and tries to go make a second play with the wind that can keep the disc alive longer than normal situations. And it's really good work.
Here's another turnover and interception there by Maltais, all the way back at her own goal line.
There was a foul on the throw, so that's actually going to come back. Lowercase is going to get the disc kind of right in front of our booth here.
Allison Flynn with the disc. Two turnovers apiece here in the second half. No goals. And another one. And Marie Genet will pick it up. We'll flip for Emo, Chloe Amon. And bobble there from Gabrielle Ouellette results in another change of possession. Jaffrey. Nice grab inside. Lowercase starts to work it. Jaffrey once again. Jaffrey. Emma Thorpe. Beauchemin marking her. Back for Jaffrey. MC Jacques.
I think this is a good timeout call here. Lowercase is really struggling to move the disc upfield, and every time that they're having an Iris defender right on their back or trying to lay it around them to try and get a touch of that disc.
Iris in a zone that kind of resembles a neutral zone trap.
Yes, because Lowercase's stack is so far up the field, they're able to play what we call no under, so they're really taking underneath their player, almost daring the Lowercase to throw it deep, especially with the wind. And because of that, Lowercase is having a really hard time adjusting and being able to come through those defenders into the open space backfield.
So how do they break that?
They need to have a little bit more movement, so they need to have maybe handlers moving up the field a little bit, as well as having cutters coming back. One thing that really breaks sort of these poachy man zone defenses is that if you have lots of movement backfield, when the players are switching off between playing man and zone, they don't often communicate as well as they'd like to.
Okay. Now,
we'll see if that's what they talked about. We'll see if they make that adjustment here as we are going through.
the timeout at 6-1 in that opening half. Sometimes calling a timeout can change momentum of a game. It didn't in this particular case. The Irish from Quebec City squad they made Lowercase pay for every mistake in that opening half. Nice grab there by Emma Thorpe.
And it's hard to believe this is still the first point since that.
Allison Flynn looking deep for MC Jacques, and she's got it. Lowercase on the board here in the second half. Allison Flynn gets the assist on MC Jacques' second goal of this women's final.
Yeah, and Lowercase finally able to break through there. It took a lot of patience. Unfortunately, they had a couple turnovers, had to play some defense, but they're able to really take that line, and that's a break, right? That's they started on defense, they gave Iris the disc, and now that's how they claw their way back into this game, as we see MC resting in the shade here.
Yeah, it's very important to remain hydrated on an afternoon such as this. It's not nearly as warm as it was an hour and a half ago. Certainly 10 degrees cooler with the Humidex than it was yesterday. But nonetheless, now is the time late in the day when you're playing your 4th of the day and 8th of the weekend that you have to stay hydrated, otherwise your muscles are going to cramp up.
Yeah, and like teams like Iris and Lowercase are going to ask a lot of their players. They know they're going to have to play a lot of really hard, really tight defense. They know they're going to have to work on offense. And you really need to make sure that you're able to still be out there and be at your 100%.
Rachel Robichaud with the pull. Iris gets it back. Here they start. Marina Baudouin, and another turnover. Great opportunity here for Lowercase. Danielle Thorson moves that back, and Robichaud couldn't handle a pass. Baudouin for Elsa Chu. Zhao looking into the end zone, looking for Dunbar. She's got it.
Just a great grab from Melissa. Going in the whole way, she had position on her defender, and she just really reads the disc well, goes up and takes it. And Alicia Zhao with a bit of an uncharacteristic huck here, but pays off. Just a nice take over there. Heather McCabe does what she can, but that's a tough read coming in over your shoulder while you're trying to run deep.
Dunbar's third of the game gives Iris a 9-3 lead. Game to 15 or an 80-minute hard cap. I'm not sure we're going to get to the 80-minute hard cap.
If I was a gambling man, I would say no. The way that Iris has been really moving the disc so far has been quite quick and very effective. However, that first point at a half, an 0 point for them. They really struggled. There was a lot of turnovers both sides. If the game kind of gets onto that point again, we could see a longer game.
9-3. Melissa Dunbar, 5 points in this one, 3 goals and 2 assists. Alicia Zhao with a goal and an assist. Corinne Massey, 2 helpers. What Iris has exhibited, at least in the first half, not so much here in the early stages of the second half, Corey, is really good disc control and great passing.
Yeah, they've really done a good job of limiting the turnovers, and like you said earlier, the team who makes the fewest mistakes generally wins these kind of games. We'll have to see if this D-line can kind of get out there and get that disc back and then move it nice and clean.
Lowercase. Trying to get something going here. Marie Alexander flips that across for Flynn. Allison Flynn gets it back. Inside. Lauren Polowick. Being marked closely by Virginie Cote. Nice catch. Back in. And once again, play is called.
Looks like there was something upfield. It looks like the disc will probably stay. Yeah, she's just going to tap it in here and we'll start play again.
And there's another turnover. Gabrielle Willette.
So we'll see if Iris can make them pay here.
Nope.
Oh, and we might have an injured player here. She's clutching her hand. She looked like she went down a little bit awkward.
Gabrielle Willette. And not sure what part of her's hurting.
Looks like her left hand. And we see Melissa Dunbar helping out. She is a paramedic. The coaches are out there trying to give her and kind of find out what's up. Hopefully she's okay.
So Gabrielle Willette is up under her own power. She'll go off. And it looks like she might have broken her pinky coming through the grass, and ice bag on it immediately.
I really hope that's not the case. Like these teams, they try and put their top 7 defenders out and offenders at all times. Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Went right over on it.
Yeah, that does not look good for that pinky.
That does. That's not an easy thing to have to go through either. Ouch. So, Gabrielle Willette gets some attention on the sidelines.
So because of that, what's going to happen is, so she'll have called an injury so that she can sub off. So Iris will get to sub one player on for her, and then Lowercase will get the opportunity, if they so choose, to sub a player on for any player. Obviously, the Lowercase isn't injured, but it's one way to kind of keep it fair so that your injured player can get off the field.
So who will come on in the stead of Gabrielle Willette? Gabrielle Willette will have that ice bag on her hand for quite some time, and more than likely have it looked at somewhere before they get on the road to Quebec City. That 4-hour drive from the nation's capital will be a lot easier to handle if they come away with a victory here.
Yeah, it's always, I mean, you never want to get injured or hurt anything like that, but it's always feels a little easier when you hurt yourself for a winning cause rather than a losing one.
Just about set to get underway once again. Allison Flynn with the disc. Going all the way across the field, and a great D there by Virginie Cote. 6 turnovers in the second half by Lowercase, 9 in the opening half. Alexandra Aboud for Emo, and her toss knocked away.
That looked pretty good for Iris. I think if they just had a slight more execution on that throw, they might have actually come away with a goal. They are really counter-attacking or counter-punching Lowercase quite well, and they really get that disc moving quickly, which makes it tough for Lowercase to set up their defense.
Lowercase has the disc back. Marie-Eve Beauchemin will defend Allison Flynn. Flynn's toss. Nice grab to keep it alive by Marie Alexander. She sends it inside. Emma Thorpe. Thorpe to the outside. Here's an opportunity for Lowercase to get something going. Marie Alexander inside, and a drop there by Emma Thorpe.
Yeah, they're getting into unforced errors, so they're just dropping it or throwing it away themselves, and Iris isn't even getting the D's anymore, so Lowercase really needs to turn it around here.
And there's another goal. Alexandra Aboud on a nice toss from number 3, Virginie Malte, and it's now 10-3 for Iris, 5 goals away from a No Borders championship.
Yeah, and it's looking more and more like like they're going to keep riding this high. They haven't let off the gas, which is really good. That's a problem a lot of teams struggle with, is when they get up big, you kind of get a couple defensive breaks in a row, and then you start feeling good. You start being a little bit more loose with your offense, throwing the disc away a little bit more, and that can really bring the team back into the game.
So now, Lowercase will have to get something going here, trailing 10-3. It's down by 7, and you like to think that they could chip away at the lead, but Iris is not really giving them many opportunities to move the disc up the field.
No, and you see Jen LaBelle there getting some new gloves. Hopefully those help. This is going to be a big point for Lowercase, because this is kind of where they probably want to start to make that stand, start to make that an offensive hold here would be huge for them.
Big pull. Jesse Robinson sends that back. Bree Vandergrint. Back for Jesse Robinson. Vandergrint has it now. Flips it up for Valerie Chiasson. Genevieve LaBelle. Vandergrint sends that one over the head of Jesse Robinson, and it's another turnover.
This is what Lowercase needs to stop. They are simply having a difficult time hitting their receivers. They need to sort of dial in those throws, get that execution back, and then they can start completing some passes.
Marie-Andre Pambrun moves that across. Nice catch there by Catherine Carrier. And that pass just too far, intending it for Elsa Chu. And both teams Irish certainly not as crisp as they were in that opening half.
No, and I think that's some of the fatigue coming in sometimes, especially when you're playing these longer points where you're playing defense for a longer time. It can be very difficult to kind of flip the switch and play really clean offense.
Robinson's toss over the head of Ashlyn Kelly. Bergeron or Diana Trin. Trin has that pass blocked. Heather McKay there to make the stop. Here come Lowercase once again. Robinson going for the bundle. She's got Ashlyn Kelly, and she scores! Second goal of this final for Ashlyn Kelly, and it's now 10-4.
As we see, Jessie throws a huck, very characteristic of her, and she really puts it out nice in front of Ashlyn. And she's able to read the disc, go up strong, and the defender is just too short.
So Jessie Robinson gets her first statistical note of this game, and Jessie is kind of player that, as she goes, the rest of the team goes. Is that accurate?
Yeah, she is definitely a very big weapon on offense for Lowercase, and the more that they can sort of get her the disc in those power positions where she can throw a huck quite easily, and the more that the cutters are clicking downfield, the timing all works out, the more you'll see shorter points for Lowercase's offense, get them off the field and get that D line back out there.
10-4, and getting very close to the 60-minute mark. 23 and change left here in an 80-minute hard cap. Catherine Poirier. Finds Marie Genet to the near side for Maria Beauchemin. Good D there. Brianna Jaffrey with the D. It's another turnover.
Looks like there's a pick call here. She's not able to get to her player because she's saying that the other girl cut through. So the throw is going to stay in the middle. It's still a D. It's just a matter of the throw going back to the person who picked it up. If she turns here, though, to her left, she has a cutter wide open. So we'll see if she changes her mind here.
Allison Flynn. Little toss inside. Brianna Jaffrey into the end zone, right on the doorstep. Emma Thorpe. Emma Thorpe sends it in. Another great D there, this time by Virginie Cote. Cote has the disc. Little forehand too far for Roxanne Goodere.
This is the kind of game that Iris wants to avoid. They don't want to have these turnovers with their D-line playing. Oh, because it keeps giving Lowercase a chance to kind of punch back into this game.
And they have. Maybe Poirier got a hand on that one.
Definitely a high stall count, so Brianna did not have too much of a choice to throw to. So you see a Jaffrey turnover there.
Genet finds Aboud. Aboud gives for Virginie Maltais. Back for Beauchemin. And play called once again.
We got a pickup field. Iris is really struggling getting their organization set, and they are a D-line, so they play more defense than O, but they need to clean up the picks here a little.
Beauchemin, the toss for Genet too far. And it's looking like we might get to that 80-minute cap.
Yes, we've seen a lot more turnovers in the second half, especially out of Iris, and it might drag on here. The wind is picking up, as you can see the tent blowing in the background. So we'll see if that plays an effect.
Allison Flynn on the sidelines.
Just arguing about the spot where she caught the disc, and then she'll get it back and get tapped in here.
Tapped in. Flynn looking for Jaffrey. Jaffrey goes in, comes back out, gets the disc. Jaffrey. Nice catch there from Court Benvenuti. Into the end zone, too far for Marie Alexander.
That's one of those tough throws. The wind's kind of coming a little bit in your face, a little bit left to right, and you're really trying to put it as close to the back line as you can. We see she takes a really quick shot here, and unfortunately the cutter's just not able to make up that distance.
Genet in her own end zone. Nice toss. Finds Guedere. Guedere for Cote. Cote has Aboud on the sidelines. Alexandra Aboud. Back to Cote in the middle. Around to the far side for Guedere. Down the sidelines for Malte. She's got it. Malte back for Genet. Genet into the middle. In and out of the hands of Marie-Ève Beauchemin. A collision there with Allison Flynn.
I think she's trying to call the foul so that she couldn't get through the play. I believe the disc was through before the players made contact, but I think she's saying she sort of shied away from... Oh, we have no foul call here. So it's getting waved off by the players. They came to an agreement.
So it will be Lowercase possession. 11 turnovers apiece in the second half. 9-4 in that department in favor of Lowercase in the opening half. So here's a chance for Beauchemin. She's got it. Another turnover, and Iris makes Lowercase pay.
Yeah, you see a quick turnover here, just right in front of the end zone, and then Iris is perfect from there. Just a quick, nice, easy backhand. The cutter's already been going. The handlers aren't ready to play defense, and it's just as simple as that.
Marie Genet drawing the assist. And now it's 11-4. So Lowercase down by 7. They've cut the lead to as low as 6, but Iris has been in control of this women's final almost from the opening pull.
Yeah, Iris started out strong. They've tailed off a little bit in terms of their offense, but their defense has been really strong throughout. They're always on the back of their person, and they've done a really good job when Lowercase is coming to get the disc. They're right there. They set the mark on quick, and they're able to keep the force and keep their defense rolling.
Haven't seen Gabrielle Ouellette since she went off with an injury. Not sure whether or not they've taken her to seek some medical attention or not.
She's been hiding on the far sideline. She has had her fingers taped up. She was trying to throw a little bit, but she has not seen the field again. So it's a possible, like, with a lead like this, they don't need to kind of push her and put her out there with nationals coming up in about a month. But it's also possible that she's not good to go.
Valerie Chiasson. Little toss inside, and that's picked off. Another turnover. Here's the long bomb, just too far for Marina Baudouin. And Lowercase is going to get the disc back.
I think Lowercase needs to take a little bit more advantage here. The wind is kind of a bit left to right from the viewer's perspective, but it's also a bit from the close side to the far side. So they should really be able to get a good huck look off here. We just need to see the cutters moving.
And there's another turnover into the end zone. And it's another score for Marie-André Pambrun.
So if you look at that play again, you'll notice a few things that's really become the difference between Iris and Stella at this point in the game, or Iris and Lowercase, excuse me, at this point in the game. As we see Iris celebrating here, there's still high energy. So here we have just a throw through the middle. We have two sort of Lowercase players trying to make a play on the disc, but it's just such a crisp pass that there's nothing they can do there.
So 12-4, the lead is now 8, and you can see the body language of Iris as they get 3 goals away from a tournament victory here at Ultimate Park International. And you look at Lowercase in the body language on that side of the field, and it's not nearly as enthusiastic.
No, and understandably so given the score, but what I like about Iris, what's really showing me that they're going to try and finish this game out strong, is they're still all business. These ladies they're not on the sideline celebrating. They are still have a lot of energy for their sideline help, and they're really giving it a team effort so far.
There's the pull. And again, Lowercase starts this drive with excellent field position. Oh, Gabrielle Willette back out on the field now. Back out on defense. Little throw in for Ashlyn Kelly. Kelly forced back, comes back to Brianna Jaffrey. Nice play by Marie Alexander to get herself underneath the disc and make the catch. That toss goes awry, and it's another turnover. Back comes Iris. Marie Genet for Catherine Poirier. Genet to the outside. Willette down low. Aboud into the end zone, and it's good to Gadair, but there's a foul called before the toss.
So originally it was a travel on Gauvin back about 4 throws ago. The players backfield stopped playing, but everybody else kind of kept going. The observers noticed it, so it will come back. It'll be right here in the middle. Yeah, so she really rounds there, which you're not allowed to do. You have to continue the main motion that you have when you're catching the disc. You're not allowed to speed up or change direction.
Still 12-4. Here's Genet. Genet inside. Gadair. Gadair. Aboud tracks that one down.
Pick called. We've seen this a lot with Iris around the end zone. With their offense, they run a little bit clumpy, I guess would be the word I'd choose to use. And they keep having these picks called.
Gadair. Gadair. Nice play inside for Emo. Emo. Nice block. Good D there by Ashlyn Kelly.
Really timely, too. This is a point that Lowercase really needs. They can't afford to give up another one here.
Marie Alexander comes to the near side, brought down by Kelly. Kelly, little forehand. Alexander gets it back. Back inside for number 15, Court Benvenuti. There's another tip, and Genet has the interception. Genet still with it. Looking down for Aboud. Aboud has Gabrielle Willette. Can she get to it? No, it's too far. And Willette is not going to be diving for the disc in that situation after having almost broken her left pinky on an earlier play.
Yeah, it's always tough, especially when you get back out there to get yourself game ready, because your body is telling you that you're hurting a little. Really good effort and a great cut from her. Just unfortunately, the disc was a little too far.
Heather McKay, near side, pass is complete. McKay gets it back, and that's another turnover. 18 in the second half for Lowercase. Gadair looks to the end zone, comes back out, and a timeout called by Catherine Poirier. And Iris wants to get a little bit of a breather, get something going offensively, and chip their way to another victory. Just 11 minutes away from that 80-minute hard cap.
And we had a very fast first half in terms of ultimate games, like relative to other ones. And because of that, we kind of had assumed that we would get a nice clean second half, a lot of quick points, and get the score up there. But now we do see the time is becoming a factor. Iris with a comfortable lead here, calling a timeout. We see this throw here, and unfortunately she's just not quite able to get there. It's a little bit further away than it looks on that angle, and it's a really tough catch to make.
There's a look at Iris, number 44 there, Catherine Poirier. Number 14, Roxanne Gadair.
Doing a good job discussing things over with the coach. She's not on the field, so she's got a bit more of a level head when it comes to play calling and noticing things that are going on. Nice calming presence to have. It
will be Iris possession.
So we see here Iris gets to set first. That means they have to go where they're going to go and stay. And then the defense gets to set up on them. And then we're going to get Heather McCabe tapping the disc here in a second.
Poirier back to the outside for Genet. Genet finds Emo. Chloe Emo looking there for Guedere. Good defensive play by Brianna Jaffrey. Another turnover. Jaffrey comes back. That's picked off by Willette. Now she waits for some help. Gabrielle Willette goes back for Guedere to the outside for Genet. Genet. Aboud. Alexandra Aboud. Trying to find somebody open in the end zone. Can't do it. Here's Genet. Low shot right into the hands of Guedere, and it's a goal.
Just a great inside flick break from Genet. As we see here, Iris is doing a really good job of moving the disc across the field. Brianna Jaffrey's a little bit too overcommitting there, and then the inside flick break is open for the goal.
13-4 now. And this one has been all Iris. There's Roxanne Guedere getting some congratulations on the Iris sideline.
Yeah, I think they're starting to realize kind of the point they're at in the game, especially with the time that we have left before hard cap. And the smiles are starting to creep in a little bit. They got to make sure that they stay focused and go and get those points.
Iris came in as the #1 seed here in this tournament. Ottawa's Stella was seeded second. Iris defeated Stella in the semifinal to reach this women's final. And it was Iris, or make that Quasar that lost to Lowercase in the other semi. And Quasar, another team from Quebec. What is it about this sport that makes it so popular within the province of Quebec?
One thing that really helps is they have a really good program based in Montreal. Of course, Quebec City will disagree with me and say they have a very good program, which they do. It's just one thing that there's a lot of teamship and camaraderie on the Quebec side, as well as they do a really good job of having competitive programs that have multiple levels. So they'll have like an A team, a B team, a C team, a D team, and so on. And because they get to so many people involved, they get so many practice reps, they go to so many tournaments, they're able to really develop their programs and really put out some quality frisbee players.
Danielle Thorson into the end zone, and a great grab there by Jessie Robinson. And in traffic, too.
We see a little bit of a spike there, probably a little bit of relief that she was able to come down with this disc. It was quite a nice grab. She kind of gets sandwiched in between two Iris players here, and she's able to go up positively and get that disc.
So now it's 13-5. Thorson drawing the assist on Jessie Robinson's first goal of this game.
And that's Jessie Robinson, only the third player to get into have to have 2 points on the Lowercase side. Because the score, they've had such difficulty, they were only able to have 2 players who had more than 1 goal or an assist.
And they called it. It is over. Iris from Quebec City wins 13-5 against Lowercase from Ottawa and Kitchener. And what a great women's final. Iris goes away the 2019 No Borders Ultimate Champion.
Yeah, Iris really played a great game from start to finish. They came out, they were very organized with their defense, and as such they were able to capitalize on the Lowercase turnovers. We see here players getting congratulations. They're getting together for a spirit circle, which is something kind of unique to Ultimate. You don't see this happen after NFL games or anything like that, but it's a really good way to make sure that you appreciate the game that you got from your opponent. There's a lot of mutual respect as well as a lot of friends on either team here. And this way they're able to sort of thank their opponent for the game as well as really keep the sportsmanship in the sport.
Wonderful bit of camaraderie there from both of these teams in the women's final, but it was all Irish this afternoon. A 13-5 victory, and they are the 2019 No Borders Ultimate Women's Division champions. For Corey Boucher and our entire Rogers TV crew, I'm Dan Mooney. Thanks so much for the company. So long from Ultimate Parks Incorporated.